Hi guys, today we're going to take a look at the 3 new hunting grounds in the winter update. Those are the extension of Ixupan, Boltors and Nimerat's Dragons. Now, before we dive in, just a full disclosure, this is only the second day of the test server, so still a lot of things can change. But you know, I've had a chance to experience all of those respawns. I think I have a reasonably good idea of what they're going to be used for. So yeah, let's take a look. First of all, we're going to take a look at the Ipan Extension. This area will be accessible after Ahau. So, you know, when you do the Ahau boss, there's going to be a new area following on from there. There are 3 monsters here. Ixiaponat, Mitmach Scout, and Mitmach Seer. They're quite strong. Definitely the Mitmachs, even though they look really silly, they do quite a lot of damage, a little bit more than I would expect for this sort of experience / health range. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the damage is tuned down a little bit during the test server. In any case, you want to be using either energy or earth damage in this spawn if you're an EK. According to Tipsoft, there are 4 different hunting grounds at this new Ipan extension. I've only been able to experience 2 of them because I haven't quite finished the quest. Nevertheless, the first one that I looked at is this at the very entrance. Is like a big open area that's probably going to be used primarily when you're solo hunting. It's a little bit awkward because it has these spikes that come out of the ground that you need to avoid, otherwise you will be teleported to the start of the respawn, but it's not a huge deal really. And there's a second area sort of as you progress a little bit further in. This one I don't like so much because the corridors are kind of awkward. It's kind of hard to make the pulls. Yeah, you know how it is with tight corridors. It's kind of difficult to make big team hunting scenarios here happen, so I wouldn't expect that second one to be that popular. But the first one I looked at, I thought was pretty decent for a solo hunt. Now, looking at the results that I was able to achieve in that first place, I think this place is actually pretty good. This was with a couple of people running around and, you know, sort of interrupting, so I think those results could be pushed even higher. I think you can sort of envision around 4kk raw and maybe even 1.5kk profit per hour, which I think is pretty high for what these monsters offer, even though they are quite difficult. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see maybe a reduction in profit from those monsters. And I expect all of the hunting areas that are viable in this Ipan extension will mostly be focused on profit with, you know, just sort of a medium / reasonable experience rate. Judging based on the strength of these monsters, I would say this place will be huntable by maybe around a level 500-ish solo vocation. I think, you know, mages, paladins, and knights will probably all start around level 500, you know, maybe a little bit earlier, maybe a little bit later, depending on your gear and skills. But I don't anticipate there will be much team hunting going on in here. I think it's probably not quite enough respawn for team hunting. And finally, looking at the damage type breakdown, you will be expecting to be taking physical, energy, and death damage in this respawn. So yeah, in summary, I think this spawn is okay. It's nothing groundbreaking. Going to have to wait and see what this 3rd and 4th respawn that Tipsoft mentioned are like. If they're any good, I will make guides for them after the test server. But in any case, I think this respawn is pretty decent. It's quite hard, but the profit should make up for it. Next up, we're going to take a look at Boltors. This place is accessed via the 20 years a cook quest. It will probably take you around an hour maybe to get access to this place. So this place has 3 types of monsters, all Boltors. One of them is ranged, so you have to watch out for that if you're an EK or a paladin. Make sure to use your range, etc. With regards to the damage, they're weak to death and earth, which means that if you're an axe or a club, you will be wanting to use your 2-handed sanguine weapon, and if you're in sword, you will probably be using your 1-handed death weapon, I'd imagine, maybe your earth weapon as well. This place has got 2 floors. Both floors are big enough to be individually hunted, so I think this will basically be 2 respawns, 2 viable respawns that people will use. I don't think anyone will be using both floors at the same time. And a huge shout out to Tipsoft at this point is that the layout and the density are both amazing. Regardless of how viable this place will end up being, it is very fun with regards to layout and density. You can kind of just go from one room to the next, do huge pulls. It kind of feels like, I don't know, like a Banuta or a Catacombs, you know, there's no backtracking, just huge pulls. So big props for that. It's definitely very fun. So the purpose of this spawn when we look at the results is profit, as stated by Tipsoft. So do not expect a high experience rate here, but expect to make some profit. Now, for me, this place was actually too hard on my 590 EK without best in slot equipment because I sold my spirit phones. So I was not able to really get any viable results. However, I've had some friends hunt and I've read some comments, and by the sounds of it, you can kind of expect maybe around 4kk raw experience with maybe up to 2 million profit. However, this will be, you know, on a higher level. You'll probably need to be 600 to 800 level to hunt here to be able to manage, and it's still going to be pretty difficult. But in any case, this is going to be a profit spawn. So, as mentioned, I think this place will be huntable by pretty much everybody solo. I think it's going to be the hardest for knights. I think if you're a really good knight with, you know, proper best in slot gear, you know, your sanguine stuff, you can kind of toy with it around level 600, but I think in general closer to level 800 before it's really comfortable. Paladins I expect somewhere closer to like level 600. This is because the rooms are huge, so easily kiteable, and same goes for mages. You know, you should be able to kite relatively comfortably. There's no tight corridors, etc., so they should be able to maybe start a little bit earlier. I think duo is also going to be pretty viable here on a slightly lower level if you're looking for profit. When it comes to team hunts, it depends, right? There's no experience here. In my experience, people who team hunt want EXP. They don't care that much about profit. Certainly not, you know, hunting a profit only spot. So even though the rooms, you know, are huge and the floors are huge, I'm kind of skeptical that team hunts will happen here just because there's not going to be enough experience to justify it. But the profit, I'm sure, would be great. And finally, the damage breakdown is mostly energy and physical, or with a little bit of death, ice, and holy. So quite a few elements that you need to gear for. So yeah, in summary, this place has an amazing layout, amazing density. It's supposed to be a profit spawn. It's very difficult, definitely not a sort of low or mid-level hunting ground. But in general, it's okay. I think it'll be reasonably popular. But if I was to, you know, really warrant a guess, I don't think it's going to be anything game-breaking. I think it's just going to be, you know, sort of medium popularity spot. And finally, we're going to take a look at Nimishad's Dragons. This spawn is unlocked at the very end of the 20 Years of Cook quest. Once you've basically finished it, you get access to this dungeon. Here we have 3 new types of dragons. One of them, the Mega Dragon, is ranged, which means you will need to use, you know, your ranged etc. to pull them in. Now, the screenshots I'm just showing from the resistances are pre some changes on the test server. As it stands right now, so ignore the screenshots, as it stands right now, the 2 best elements for this spot are energy and earth, which means if you've got your club or sword EK and you've got your sanguine weapon, you're going to be very happy. However, the ice element and death, they're pretty strong too, which means that if you're an axe, this place is not going to be so great for axe EKs. I tried it, it wasn't very good. It's much better if you're in club or in sword. This spawn can be split into 2 floors. Both of them are big enough to be individual hunting grounds, so I expect that to be basically two hunting grounds here. I don't expect anyone to require both of the floors, and the layout and density of this place is pretty awesome. There's lots and lots of monsters. You shouldn't be doing too much backtracking. The one slightly annoying comment maybe I will make is that the monsters move relatively slow, and there's a little bit of distance between the rooms, which means you probably won't be able to make massive pulls between many rooms. You'll probably want to kill each room and then move on to the next without pulling the monsters. But regardless of that, the layout and density are really amazing, just like at the Boltors respawn. So again, huge shout out to Tipsoft. Now, the purpose of this spawn, as mentioned by Tipsoft themselves, is experience. There is not going to be very much loot, but the experience should be amazing. Now, I haven't hunted here that much, but I have asked a couple of friends, and I've seen some results of other people hunting here. So these results I'm showing you now are from a level 680 EK with full best in slot. And, you know, this was the first time hunting. I think you can probably push somewhere around 7kk raw at this spawn, but probably not get very much profit at all. So overall, I would say this is a likely alternative to Sphinxes, at least for solo vocations. Now, due to the layout and the density of this place, I actually think this place is going to be pretty much huntable by everyone. I think out of all the spawns we've covered so far, this is going to be by far the most popular spawn and contested spawn. I think pretty much everybody can hunt here at various level ranges. So yeah, this is the one that I would expect to watch. You know, this is an experienced place, so loads of people will be trying to rush levels here. Definitely, you know, keep your eyes open for this one. I think this is going to be the big one from this update. And finally, with the input analyzer, this is mostly fire and death damage here, obviously in addition to physical, so that's the way to gear for it. So yeah, in summary, this place is great. Definitely an experienced place, not much profit. I expect it to be popular for people who want to rush levels. It's very fun. Definitely recommend checking this one out and completing the questline. And that about sums it up. That's all I have for you today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As mentioned, this is indeed still the test server, so a lot of these values can change. And, you know, once the test server is concluded, once we have all the final values of everything, I will try to go to these places on live and make guides as always. So yeah, thanks for watching. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about these spawns if you're looking forward to them. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.